Hello everyone, my name is Amber Sargent, and for our trade books activity, I chose to focus on what we do with ideas. And the books for this particular month included What to Do with a Box and What Do You Do with an Idea. I chose to focus on this particular lesson. It's called Scamper, and it's geared towards grades kinder through second. And the whole purpose of this particular activity is to get students engaged with being able to use the creative thinking strategy called Scamper. And with this creative thinking strategy, they will be able to think outside of the box and be able to come up with different ways to use items that we see every day, we deal with every day, but find different uses for them outside of the normal way that we would use these particular objects. So the materials needed would be the book, What to Do with a Box, a chart paper, also ordinary objects such as a milk carton, plastic, wrapping paper, caps, whatever it is around you that you want to use can be used as long as you're able to hold it. A student brainstorming sheet, and a picture frame cutout. So for the engage portion of this lesson, students will be asked to explain different ways to use a box. And in order to jot down the data that we come up with, we are going to use a T-chart to write down the different ways that they have come up with to use a box. Following that, we're going to read the book, What to Do with a Box, and then we're going to refer back to that same T-chart, but on the other side of it, we're going to write down the ways that the characters in the books were able to use their box. So for the explore portion, we're going to explore the acronym for Scamper. The S is for substitute, the C is for combined, A is for adapt, M is for modify, P is for put to another use, E is to eliminate, and the R is for reverse. Following that, students will have to pick different objects that they can hold, whatever particular objects that they decided to focus on. And once they have picked those particular objects, they are going to use their brainstorming sheet and get into groups with about 2 or 3 and record the different ways that they are able to use the objects that they have listed as a group. For the explain portion, students will select one creative use for one of the objects that they chose, and they're going to draw and label that particular object, and then they're going to share the ideas that they came up with the whole entire class and not just the groups that they had. Following this, students will complete the rest of the letters for the acronym of Scamper. So they're going to write down the things that are tied to this acronym, but based around the object that they chose. So for the elaborate portion, students will be able to hear about the Wright brothers and how they went about creating and brainstorming their ideas before they got to the actual design. And then students will select another object and then again go through the whole Scamper process with that same group of 2 to 3 that they had before. And students in the group will be asking each other how they could improve the ideas that they have come up with. So what could they do different? How could they tweak it, etc. And for the evaluate portion, students will be evaluated on the answers that they're given on their worksheets and not about the creativity as a whole. So with this particular lesson, there is no wrong answer. the point is to get students to be able to be creative as they possibly can. And here is my worksheet. So I was able to get a copy of this book for $5.78 from a website called abooks.com. The thing that stood out to me the most was the acronym for Scamper, which is what I already went through. What grabbed my attention about this particular lesson was that students are able to be creative and to think outside of the box and to use just ordinary objects around them to design and create and build. I think to me that is important, and I think students tend to have a lot of fun doing that. I think the biggest concern I would have with this particular project is how I could integrate it with other lessons, because I think being creative is extremely important. So in the engage process, it is important to raise the interest of students and make them want to get involved. Explore is based on, getting students to discover new information. Explain, students share new ideas and information that they have just learned. Elaborate, knowledge is transformed and concepts are expanded. And evaluate, students are tested on what they have learned. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say that this particular lesson is a 10. I would definitely use it in my class because, again, I like when students are able to be hands-on, think outside of the box, have fun, and be creative, and also engage with their peers as well. So that is my project. Thank you.